Namaste and welcome to Relaxed Breath Training. Any of the three variations presented in this class will be tri-doshic, will be good for anybody, but in particular the Vata dosha variation is great to practice in the middle of the fall when there's a lot of wind, a lot of space, and Pitta dosha variation is wonderful to practice in the summer. And the Kapha dosha variation is great for winter and spring. We will use a sandbag for this training, which looks something like this, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but you could substitute with a rice bag or a bean bag, just from the grocery store. That's about 3 to 5 pounds in weight. Or just any weighted malleable bag like a meditation cushion or a buckwheat bag. If you don't have any of that stuff, then just use a heavy, dense folded blanket. But we will start with a Vata dosha variation, lying down on your back. Make sure you're on a surface that is firm but padded. Settle down on your back, let your feet fall apart from one another, and let your arms rest by the sides of your torso. Become aware of your breath in and out through the nose, and just get established in a breathing rhythm that is natural, effortless. Let the breath be the way it wants to be in this moment. Feeling the abdominal wall gently rise as you inhale and gently descend down as you exhale. Noticing if there are any inconsistencies in the breath, any interruptions to the smoothness of its flow. And simply observing your inhalation and exhalation as they are now. And now we'll take the bag, your sandbag, and place it on the soft part of your abdomen, just underneath the floating ribs and just above the pubic bone. And if it overlaps the bone structure anywhere, let it be the pelvis rather than the rib cage. Let your ribs be free here. And with the weight of the bag on your belly, come back to your breath, in and out through the nose. And continuing to breathe, try to smooth out the movement of the bag. As you inhale, try to lift the bag as smoothly as possible, and when you have reached the top of your inhalation, right away start exhaling just as smoothly, feeling the bag smoothly ascend and smoothly descend. And once the initial effort of adjusting to the weight of the bag subsides, now start to become established in a rhythm of breath. That is relatively steady, perhaps inhaling on a count of 2 and exhaling on a count of 2. Once you found a rhythm that is sustainable and relatively easy to rest in, start to observe the qualities of your breath, and you can see them in the qualities of the movement of the sandbag. How is the bag moving? Is it bouncing up as you inhale? And or is it bouncing down as you exhale, like tumbling down a flight of stairs? And see if you can smooth out the bouncing. It may not be you go as high or down as low. Maybe the breath is not as deep, but smooth it out. Vata dosha is made up of air and space. When air moves, it's wind, and wind is rough. You feel it on your skin, so smooth out the roughness. Vata is also very light. It's air and space, so it can get spacey and dispersed. The weight of the bag will help us weigh down the quality of light and collect the quality of dispersion. And that way we strengthen the breath and we contain it within instead of just letting it disperse out through leaks in our pranic shield. Focusing, strengthening, quieting, and relaxing for Vata dosha. And gently slide the bag off your belly, set it off to the side, and take another couple moments to notice how your breath feels now. Perhaps realizing the quality of greater freedom, but also greater consistency, depth, and stability, rhythm. extend your one arm alongside your ear. Roll over through the extended side and onto your abdomen for Makarasana, crocodile pose. And this is another adaptation of relaxed breath training that is more moderate, more cooling, suitable for Pitta dosha, which is the dosha of summer season. So again, separate your feet about 2 feet apart, turn your toes out, let the heels fall in, wiggle your hip points away from each other, spread the belly on the mat, fold your forearms in front of you, one hand touching each elbow, and rest your forehead on your forearms. So you feel your abdominal wall spread out on the mat, and yet most of your rib cage, save the floating ribs, is off the mat. Forehead on the forearms. It might take a while for you to find the optimal position here. Make sure there is no tension in the neck of any kind. And here's again a perfect opportunity to draw the senses inward to the source of breath deep down in your belly. As you inhale, feel the breath spread out. Feel your abdomen expand on the mat. And feel the sides of your waist expand away from one another. And as you exhale, feel the entire abdominal sphere gently and smoothly contract from all directions inward towards the navel. Inhalation is a smooth expansion of the abdominal sphere out in all directions, like a rubber ball inflating. And exhalation is a smooth contraction of the abdominal sphere, like a rubber ball contracting. Once you've settled into Makarasana, crocodile pose, face down, sense your belly get full and relaxed. Pitta dosha is made of fire and water. Pitta is sharp, bright, penetrating. Pitta spreads. So feel your belly spread softly and smoothly out in all directions. And because this way the breath is more passive, because there's not that effort of going up and going down like with the sandbag, the abdominal wall is relaxed. Our solar side, our front side, is turned down towards the cool ground. Cooling out
psyche and the heat of breathing effort controlling the breath. Because the earth is holding you so completely here, the breath feels free to expand into the areas where we hold: lower back, kidneys, adrenals, softening them and relaxing them. Softening the sharp quality of Pitta, relaxing its intensity, cooling down its heat of effort, and balancing its competitiveness with moderation.
And slowly slide your hands down by the sides of your chest and gently press up. And for our third variation of relaxed breath training for Kapha dosha variation, we will use the sandbag, but we will put it underneath us. Kapha needs a lot more stimulation than either Pitta or definitely Vata. So we are gonna lie down on the sandbag, positioning it in the same soft area of your belly and resting the forehead down on our forearms in the same way we did for Pitta dosha. Go ahead and position your abdomen, feeling that compression, feeling that obstacle, the challenge. Kapha needs challenge. And settle in for 8 to 12 rounds of these smooth breaths, and now a little bit more challenged, but making the same effort to smooth out the breath and keep it relaxed, deep, and consistent.
Once the initial discomfort of something in the way of your breath has become of no threat, you've gotten to accept it. Now the challenge is to smooth out the breath and let it flow around the bag smoothly, evenly, and deeply. Kapha dosha is made up of earth and water. It can get solid, it can get too stable. So it's key here to let the water flow around the stone, smoothing it, softening it, and eventually washing it away. Here the effort is on persistent flow of the breath, stronger than the obstacle before it. Kapha needs to be challenged. Kapha needs to stay stimulated, motivated. And what better motivation than your own breathing? We are balancing the cold and static qualities of Kapha dosha with the heat of effort and steady, consistent, persistent movement of the breath.
Taking one more breath. Make sure you inhale completely and exhale smoothly and completely. Place your hands by the sides of your chest. Press off the bag. And a nice way to end this sequence, to ground ourselves and to also practice this diaphragmatic relaxed breathing, is child's pose. So if you're already sitting on your heels, if that's available for you, simply lay forward with your belly and chest on your thighs. You can stretch the arms back and practice a few more of these smooth breaths and giving yourself a nice, unique opportunity to expand the breath into the lower back, into the back of the pelvis and pelvic floor. Relaxing and nourishing the kidneys, the adrenals, and gently activating parasympathetic plexus, our rest and digest center. Grounding the breath in the body. And the mind and senses in the breath. And gently sit up. Fold your hands in your lap. And take a few moments to return the breath to its natural, effortless pace. Possibly noticing how it feels more expanded, more free, and yet better contained. Well, I hope this was helpful. Use any of the 3 variations of the relaxed breath training at the end of the day or anytime you need to ground yourself in the breath and calm down, relax a little. That last child's pose variation is lovely to give yourself a quick self-soother. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Please do any of it or all of it every day if possible and pass it on. Namaste.